In the summer of 1942, a single city on the Volga River became the center of the most brutal battle in human history. By the time it ended, over 2 million people would be dead, wounded, or captured. Entire armies would vanish. And one dictator's dream of victory would freeze in the Russian winter. This was the Battle of Stalingrad. A battle where survival meant fighting room by room, floor by floor, sometimes brick by brick. In 1942, Adolf Hitler believed the Soviet Union was on the brink of collapse. German forces had already conquered vast territories across Eastern Europe. But one objective remained critical: the city of Stalingrad. Stalingrad was more than just a city. It was a major industrial hub producing tanks and weapons. It controlled vital shipping routes along the Volga River. And perhaps most importantly, it carried the name of Hitler's greatest enemy, Joseph Stalin. For Hitler, capturing Stalingrad would be both a strategic victory and a symbolic humiliation for the Soviet leader. But the city would not fall easily. German bombers turned Stalingrad into rubble before the ground battle even began. Entire neighborhoods were reduced to dust, but the destruction created something unexpected: a fortress. Soviet defenders hid inside shattered buildings, basements, and sewer tunnels. German soldiers soon discovered that traditional warfare no longer worked. This was Rattenkrieg, rat war. Snipers hunted through broken walls. Grenades rolled down staircases. Machine guns fired through collapsed windows. A factory floor might change hands 5 times in a single day. One German officer later wrote, "We have taken the kitchen, but the Russians are still in the dining room." The battle was no longer about strategy. It was about endurance. Among the ruins, Soviet snipers became legends. One of them was Vasily Zaitsev. Using patience and deception, Zaitsev hunted German officers across the battlefield. Every shot was psychological warfare. Every kill reminded the German army that nowhere in Stalingrad was safe. The city itself had become the enemy. While German forces were locked in brutal street fighting, Soviet commanders prepared something far larger: a massive counterattack. In November 1942, the Red Army launched Operation Uranus. But instead of striking the strongest German positions inside the city, they attacked the weaker Romanian and Hungarian armies guarding the flanks. Within days, the trap was complete. Over 300,000 Axis soldiers were surrounded inside Stalingrad. Hitler ordered them to hold the city at all costs, but supplies could not reach them. Food ran out, ammunition ran out, hope ran out. Winter tightened its grip. Temperatures plunged below -30 degrees Celsius. German soldiers starved. Horses were eaten. Wounded men froze where they lay. Inside the ruins, the once powerful German Sixth Army, commanded by Friedrich Paulus, slowly collapsed. Hitler promoted Paulus to Field Marshal, a rank that had never surrendered. The message was clear: fight to the death. But on February 2, 1943, Paulus surrendered anyway. More than 90,000 German soldiers marched into captivity. Only a few thousand would ever return home. The Battle of Stalingrad shattered the myth of Nazi invincibility. For the first time, a massive German army had been completely destroyed. From that moment forward, the Wehrmacht would fight a defensive war in the east. The road to Berlin had begun, but it started here, in a city reduced to ashes. Stalingrad was not just a battle. It was a warning about the cost of ambition, about the limits of power, and about what happens when two nations refuse to surrender. Because in the frozen ruins of Stalingrad, the war turned, and the fate of Nazi Germany was sealed.